Hi, girls. It's Heather Pillow, Executive Director with Pure Romance. And today we have our success interview with my upline, actually. We're going to be talking to Cindy Haebler out of Novi, Michigan. Cindy has been a consultant in this industry for almost 16 years, which is just staggering. Is currently looking at a team who all the way through 2015 has already done $8 million in sales. So welcome, Cindy. Super excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
And of course, in an effort to have full disclosure, she is one of my favorite people on the planet. So this should be a pretty fun interview. So
feeling, and I got my two minions are in the background. So at some point they might come in and ask for a snack. You just never know. It's kind of spontaneous here in my house.
It's okay. You can see my door to my office, and you may, at any time, there could be a half-naked body or fighting or whatever. So we'll just roll with it.
Perfect.
Okay, so Cindy, do me a favor and start us off by telling us a little bit about your Pure Romance journey.
Oh my gosh. I joke that I am one of those people that if you want to do any particular thing in your business, go ask Cindy Haebler because she's probably been there and done that. So I was working a full-time job at Johns Hopkins University when I started, just to pay off a little bit of credit card debt and teach about sexual wellness. And never thought I would ever leave my job there, and fell in love with my business and made so much in my business that I didn't want to wear pantyhose ever again or work for anybody ever again. And that was way before kids. It was right after I got married. So I worked a full-time job, and then I've been a full-time at-home worker with this. I've got two small children that I went through both pregnancies while I was in the business. So I've kind of been through all of that. I moved my business after 9 years, moved my business from Maryland, from where I was born and raised, to Michigan, where my husband was born and raised. And I mean, the list, it's been an incredible journey of the amount of things that I've been able to pay for with my business, paying cash for my wedding and cash for lots of vet bills over the years. Been able to stay home with my kiddos. And to be honest with you, I didn't know I ever wanted kids until I met Chris and was just starting with my PR biz, or actually the slumber back then, my slumber parties business. And it was just such a beautiful chemistry of how everything worked out that I knew there was no way I would ever want to have kids unless I knew I could stay home with them. And this worked out very nicely, which I know you're familiar with too. So
for sure.
It's been very good.
Yep. So I know that it's like way long time ago, but can you throw back to your first month or two in business and tell us how you started? Was it huge? Was it soft? Was it huge and soft? Those are not good things.
Yeah, huge maybe. The soft part, not so much. My first month in business, embarrassingly enough, my first month in business, I didn't do anything. My box of my kit, I got the middle kit, and it sat in a corner for 3 weeks, just sat there. And I did not have a real hands-on sponsor when I started, but I'm a big girl. I could have opened up the kit and figured everything out. And luckily, a friend of a friend, or actually a sister of a friend, booked a party with me, and I had no choice because I needed to honor my word. I said I'd do her party. So I went in and did this party. I remember it was 24 girls. It was like it was yesterday. 24 women. Several of them are still good friends. And it was a $979 party. Now, let me back that up just a little bit. It was a $979 party. The most expensive product I sold was do you remember our old Jelly Ultimate Beaver?
Yes.
It was $31 back then. And
it was the toy that looked like a totem pole, right?
It did. It looked like a totem pole. People were there was some political incorrectness with it. It was just wildly inappropriate. And we had high-end toys back then, but I didn't understand why anybody needed a high-end toy. I had never owned anything like that before. I was very new to the whole genre of bedroom accessories. And the only one I owned was the Jelly Ultimate Beaver. So yeah, I knew it. And you know what you sell what you know a lot of times, especially when you're brand spanking new. So, and I'll tell you, I learned from that. That's why I tell all my girls to get an executive for their first party. So now that I know that, 24 people, $979, if I had it to do all over again, I would have sold much higher end toys, and it would have been so $979 was pretty good with a $31 ticket item being my most expensive.
Right.
you know?
24 people at a first party, like that's got to be intimidating.
It was very intimidating. I remember calling my sponsor because back then, do you remember there was net and retail?
Right.
Didn't understand the difference between it. Luckily for all the new girls starting with us now, there's just retail. So it makes it super easy. But I had no idea what I was doing. I had the spiral bound 3x5 note cards, which I don't think are antiquated. I still have them. They're on my same shelf in my office with all my trophies because I never want to forget where I came from.
Yep.
It probably took 10 or 12 parties before I I remember the night I put the cards to the side and said, I don't need these anymore. I got this. And it's 16 years later, almost 16 years next month before I pulled out those note cards.
Awesome. I didn't even know that about the 24 people. Like I'm stuck on that. That's a big party.
Giant party. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your first team member.
My first team member. Okay. Well, actually there's an interesting thing behind that because I believe that sometimes people are just go-getters, and by nature I'm a go-getter unless I don't understand something. So if I don't understand something, I'll procrastinate and not touch it. So I didn't understand recruiting. I didn't understand why to recruit. So I did not recruit for my first almost 2 years. I didn't present the opportunity. I say that if I had from day one, I'd probably be a gazillionaire right now. But I did not do it for the first 2 years because my attitude was I didn't know what I was doing. How can I possibly train somebody else? Knowing what I know now, that was just a cop-out. It was that I didn't do the research, find a mentor. Who cares if your sponsor's hands-on or not? Find someone who does understand, kind of thing.
Right.
And I'm not at all throwing my sponsor under the bus. She wasn't a heavy recruiter either at that time, so she was learning. So my first recruit kind of fell into my lap. She kept saying she was going to sign. She didn't. She said she faxed the information in. She didn't. And this went on for weeks and weeks. And I was so hungry for a recruit at that point when I finally started to get it a little bit. Oh, that would be Mushu, my 7-pound purse dog. So, hey, Moosh.
Mushu.
Hey, Moosh, come here. Come here. So, Sushi and Mushu should have a play date.
Oh, he's my boyfriend.
There he is.
Buddy.
This is Heather Pillow's pool dog. Like some people have pool boys, this is her pool dog. This is Mushu. And whenever he sees something out the window, he barks. So I'm going to keep him on my lap to be good. So eventually she signed, and she didn't really do a whole lot with her business. But it was one of the things that I learned is if you have someone who really, really wants to sign up and then she falls off the planet, don't be disheartened. Keep rolling. I mean, at all times, have a lot of people on your list, your hot list of people to sign up. And don't get discouraged if one or two are flakes or they say they're going to, they don't do it, whatever. It's such a cool business helping other people that I've learned a lot about recruiting over the years. I'm still not as good at it as I'd like to be, but my first recruit taught me a lesson in patience and perseverance. So
awesome. Give us some numbers. So, like, do you have any idea how many parties you've done over the years?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't. My gosh. I can tell you I left 5,000 clients behind when I left Maryland. And I've been here for 5 years, and I've got probably 2,000 or 3,000 here. And that's also from bridal shows and things like that. So to be fair, that's not just parties. I do know my highest party ever. Let me do my lowest. My lowest is a great story. My lowest party ever was negative $15 plus travel, plus gas, okay? Negative $15. And to this day, if I had to do this party over again, I would do it. Like, there's no question in my mind. So this woman, it was a corporate party lead. It was years ago, and it was Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which was a hike from Baltimore in rush hour. It was not a small drive. And this woman tells me that she's getting a kidney transplant from her husband. And she wants to have a final, like a hurrah party before her big surgery. So I talked to her the night before, like I always do, or the day before, how many people are you expecting? And we're expecting anywhere from like I don't know, 14 to 20 people, which is, I mean, that's a great size party. I'm excited about it. That works for me. I can still get to know everybody and have a personal relationship. I like, my sweet spot's around 14. So I get there and nobody's showing up, and my assistant's setting up and nobody's showing up, and we're going and it's an hour later and not one soul shows up. And she's calling people and nobody's answering, and nobody showed up. Not one person showed up to this woman's party. So she was in tears. My assistant was in tears. I was in tears. You could just tell how disappointed she was. To this day, I'm not sure if she sent out the wrong date. Luckily, now that we can do Facebook events, we can control the information that goes out to the client for the guests. Nobody showed up. And she was so excited for this party, I still did my demo for her. We sat down in her living room. We all had like cups of tea. She made tea for us. And I went through all the products. And at the end, she was really hoping that her friends would buy stuff because I guess they didn't have insurance, so they were paying out of pocket for this surgery. So I ended up giving her our old remember the Chocolate Dream body massage candles? I gave her one of those because I said, you know what, this is just going to smell so good when you're recovering, and your husband can use a little massage oil, massage your toes, and you're just going to love it. And she cried when we left and thanked us. And then her husband came home and thanked us for not leaving because apparently her friends were just useless. So that was my smallest party ever that I'd still do every single day because we change lives. It's just what we do. And biggest party I ever did was 2 weeks before Christmas. It was the year I was top 10, so it had to have been 2005. It was $3,400. It was 30 soccer moms, and the hostess sent the invitations to the significant others. So if you had gotten the invitation, it would have been to Adrian, send Heather too, and then when they got to the house, the hostess had gone to the dollar store and bought all these stockings and in glitter glue, like wrote Adrian's name on the stocking and hung them all over her house and did a stock the stocking party, which I'm pushing again this year. I haven't done it in years, and it's such a great idea. And it was hardly any toys. It was $3,400 worth of lotions, turbo sleeves, and Magnum turbos. It was unbelievable. And they were such a fun group of women in Ellicott City, Maryland. And it was 2 weeks before.
Such a good idea.
Isn't it brilliant? She came up with the whole thing. And it was 2 weeks before Christmas to the day. And I don't want to hear that anybody can't book parties in December because it was rocking. And you know what she did is single girls, she put their names on the stocking. And then the women who were celebrating Hanukkah, she bought these beautiful gift bags with like snowflakes, blue and snowflakes, and then wrote the name in glitter glue on the outside of the gift bag. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And it was a rowdy party. There was 3 different parties going on. They were out of control, but all 3 parties were talking about the party. They weren't complaining about a daycare mom or whatever. It was, and I just kept rolling with it. The people that were really paying attention is who I did the party for. And I remember thinking, this party is it's bombing. I don't know what I'm doing. And $3,400 later, it was amazing. So
and that was right before, it was literally a month before I started. Coochie was a 4-ounce bottle for $7.50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's definitely some inflation that goes on here. That would have been a $6,000 party if it had happened today.
Yep, hands down. And I probably would have shown I was showing high-end vibes at that point, but there was no like slumber parties Harley at that point. You know, it was probably right before the Decadent Indulgences started coming out. So, and that's when I really went from 0 to 60 with the high-end vibes. So
awesome.
Yep.
So what is it that you think that you do best in this business?
I know, I believe in my heart I'm a fantastic teacher. I love to teach. I love to motivate people. It's funny, I was going over the questions last night with my assistant, Shelly, and I said, Shelly, ask me these questions. I want to see how I answer them on the fly because I'm really curious. Like I hadn't looked at the questions in a while. I'm like, just hit me with them. And she asked me, what do I do? And I was real modest about it. I'm like, Shelly, I run a good team and I guess I do this. And she goes, do you know what you do? you motivate people, even when they don't know they need to be motivated. When they're in their worst case scenario, you know how to pick them up off the ground. And I was like, well, thank you. So I guess that's coming from a team member that makes me feel good. But I know I love to teach. I am disorganized chaos or organized chaos in my life. I'm very cluttered. But when it comes to teaching and organizing thoughts to really bring them to life for consultants, I think I do a really good job with that. I also love motivating my team, and I love giving. I absolutely love it. I love to, like last weekend when I came down to Maryland just to surprise everybody. That's not because I've got the money to do it. It's because I truly, genuinely love to do that. And I love to be around my team. I don't know, Heather, what am I good at? I love this business. You don't get much more loyal and honest and ethical than I am, honestly. And I guess one of the things I'm really good at is when people are really at a crossroads of trying to figure out what's right and wrong, I am proud to say generally a lot of times people will contact me and ask me what would you do in this scenario, and that I'm able to help them through it. So
I mean, you've definitely been a sounding board for me for years, both personally and professionally. And I do love the fact that despite the fact that we love each other, you're not afraid to say, well, maybe you want to rethink that, or do you really feel like that's the best choice? You do a great job of handling my special brand of crazy, which is not easy by any means.
Well, and it goes both ways because Lord knows I've got my own special brand of ridiculous. So, yeah.
So tell me what it is that you believe that you struggle with in your business, or that you feel like you're really trying currently to work on.
You know what? It's recruiting, hands down. I love this business and I have a passion for it. And I have a passion for women's health and wellness. And I mean, I believe in our leadership in this company. I mean, I really do. Patty and Chris and Victoria and just everybody. I really genuinely, Chris Postler is a numbers god. I mean, they really have an amazing team set up for us. So clearly, I believe in this company. And it's not for lack of trying. I really think, if anything, I have to get out of my own way. It's something I've realized in the last month or two, is that I'm trying so hard. And with everything else, my parties are amazing. That's the other thing. I do a kicking party. I love doing parties. My parties are very organic. I feed off the crowd. A lot of things that I do in this business, working with the team, very organic. I am very canned of a recruiter, and I need to find my organic path to make a better recruiter out of me. I can read all of Karen Phelps' stuff and all of Belinda's stuff and all the other hot recruiters that are out there, but it still makes me really canned, and I have not found the niche not the niche, but the path. I haven't figured out the right wording to use, and maybe there is no right wording and I'm just thinking about it too hard, because there have been times in my life where I was a killer recruiter and I wish I could figure out what the magic was of that made it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely, I think, super, super important to be as authentic you as you possibly can when it comes to team building. But I think that the people who are watching this are going to be surprised, and maybe, it'll give them some peace to know that even though you are an executive director and you've been in so long and you have an $8 million plus team, that, team building is still a challenge for you. And it's something that we're constantly learning. So,
booking parties. I can book a party like nothing. And
yeah,
I can go to a party and sell an executive. No big deal. I mean, I don't do a lot of parties. If I did more parties, my numbers would probably be even wilder, but it's that recruiting piece. I just wish, I don't even wish, I'm on a mission before the end of this year to find my routine, even if it is organic, still find a more Cindy-fied way of recruiting that I think will make it better. So
speaking of your children and how many parties you do, tell us how you manage your husband, who works a crazy, 60, 70-hour job. He's also a coach. And then, of course, you have small children and a huge team. So how do you manage it all?
So I have small, very active children. My kiddos are now kindergarten and second grade, which is That's why I'm drinking wine, just saying. And then Sophia's real active in gymnastics. Christian is baseball, piano lessons, and church school. And I still manage. I'm really happy doing, I think next week I have 3 parties in the week, but I manage it all. I mean, it all just works out because I fill my family calendar first, because family is first. And then I fit where my parties go in from there. And I mean, I'm blessed that I have a mother-in-law that lives up the street, but I don't have to lean on her all that much. I'm able to do a lot of transition where Chris knows if I have a party, he rolls in the door, I roll out the door. That's what we did last night. And we still manage, we make sure we get us time. I know you and Adrian do the same thing, where you mark Adrian and Heather time. I mark Cindy and Chris time on the calendar. We are blessed with this business to be able to go on very extravagant vacations. So we're kind of like a go big or go home. Yeah, we have busy weeks, but when we go on vacation, we go on vacation. So, and I'll give you, so this week I had a party or 2 this week. I think I had 2 parties this week. They went amazingly smooth. The kids were fine because when I'm with them, I'm engaged with them. I'm spending quality time with my children. When I'm with Chris, I'm not sitting there constantly checking my phone. I'm spending quality time with him. So I'm all about the quality and not the quantity. And for example, this weekend, tomorrow, we're heading to Cincinnati to the Patty Brisbane Gala. So that's Chris and I time. And then I teach on Sunday, which is my passion. And Chris is going to do some fun things with the kids because he doesn't get to see them a whole lot. So there's nothing wrong with daddy and kiddo time. Yeah. Just like I've had mommy and kiddo time for the past 5 years with my preschool, my toddlers, my infants, my preschoolers. So, I mean, we manage it and we manage it exceptionally well. And I don't have to cold call. I don't have to do anything with my business that I'm not comfortable with. I love everything about my business. And the fact that it really does afford us amazing things, I cannot complain in the littlest bit about it. Does that answer your question? Does that?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the fact that you are able to turn off your phone and be present when it's time is not only admirable, but it's a learnable skill. It can be challenging, especially in this, we have to have immediate gratification society, but ultimately you end up being both better at your job and a better parent when that happens. So
great.
Off to you. Okay, so last question. Is there anything right now in particular that you are striving for or working on in your business?
Okay, so I reached senior board, so I'm really, really pleased about that. The one thing I'd really like to do is, we can reach senior board 3 different ways. I want to have achieved it all 3. So I want the little congratulations next to all 3. That's just that's a personal thing for me. I just want to have that retail that says like, Yahtzee, I did it. I really want the superstar bonus. I want that so badly I can taste it. And honestly, the one thing I do love about our business is, yes, I agree we need to be out there doing parties. And I think you flex, Valentine's season you're doing more. And in the summer I hardly did any because I was spending time with my kids. But I was still having flash sales. I was still getting lots of outside orders and was really pushing my product testing committee, which has been wildly successful. You were the one who first showed me the design of it, and it's just taken off from there. I just had a $5,000 product testing group roll through. So that's $5,000 right there that I didn't leave my house. So that's kind of nice. Yeah. So it's not just going to be parties. I'm going to find some other Pink Friday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing yet there, but those will help me hit that superstar bonus. Additional things with my family. I'm debt free, so it's not like I have to worry about trying to pay off any debt. I mean, I'm getting ready. Finally, I committed to it's not a granite company, but a surface company to come in and do my half bath. And I have the electrician coming next week, and I'm doing all the painting and completely renovating with new carpet and furniture in my living room or in my family room. And I want to pay cash for all of it. Now, do I have cash in the bank? And by the way, I maxed out my IRA today, for the year.
Right
I did it.
on. Good for you. Oh, we're frozen.
Right? Emergency money. I want to pay cash for it with my October parties. So I have this real fun goal that all of that's going to get paid for with October, because I have, we're going to Deep Creek, so I've already paid that off, and I paid for that in cash. So I'm trying to pay for as much in cash as possible. I worked for an amazing guy at Johns Hopkins years ago that said, if you can't pay cash for it, you can't afford it. And that is what has kept me debt free. And that's what's kept me, not that I don't have a credit card that I'm maxing, that I'm getting good points on, like Disney points and stuff, but I'm paying it off every month. And I think that is a huge piece of my success, is remaining debt free for years.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to tell the girls or share?
Oh my gosh. So Mike, and I'd like our team to roll $10 million. And as of right now, as of last night, we're almost $8.9 million. So we're this close to 9 million. You know what, Heather, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that I even heard about Coochie Shaving Cream on 98 Rock, Baltimore 18 years ago. I'm blessed to have the women on my team that I do. Some of the best friendships ever. And the fact that I stay home with my children, I mean, Pure Romance is a job, but it's a lifestyle for me. It really is. It is the reason why I get out of bed every morning and love my job. So I get out of bed for my kids and my family, but not many people on this earth get out of bed because they love their job and fun and creative. And, you know, being on the board helps with that too, because you get to know all the cool stuff that's coming out. And ultimately it's about helping people, whether it's our clients or our team, and I get to do it every day. So it's pretty freaking awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is an incredibly busy schedule to share with the girls. Pearls, I hope you have enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye, guys.